Well, it's been a long time coming, but I finally blew myself. Hey y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here, and welcome to another travel vlog. This morning it is 6 a.m. and I am getting to the airport. We're heading out for yet another convention. It's only the second time I've ever been flown out, so I can't lie, I am so excited. Today we're going to NEBRASKON, all the way up in Council Bluffs, which is somehow both Iowa and Nebraska. I haven't spent much time in the Midwest, so I am so excited about this, and of course my dad is coming with me, which I'm super grateful for. I normally hate flying, but it's a necessary evil, so let's get this party started. Everything was going great, except our flight out got delayed by a half hour, so by the time we landed for our connecting flight, we literally had 15 minutes to run from one end of the airport to the other. This was absolutely exhausting, but luckily I did make my flight. And what was really exciting about this one was that I managed to snag really cheap first class upgrades. I'm not even kidding, it was 80 bucks to upgrade each. So I finally got to experience first class, and there were some bells and whistles with this one. I didn't even mind the long ass taxiing line to get out of here. Once we were up in the air, I was able to get comfortable and I started editing a video that I had to submit later in the day. Apparently American Airlines gives you these delicious warmed nuts that I'd never had.
How are the warm nuts?
The warm nuts were delicious. I've never been more thrilled to see a set of warm nuts. And we also got this really tasty in-flight meal. It was a salad, mac and cheese, a little braised beef, some cheesecake. And I know you guys are gonna laugh, but I brought along Spooky Snoopy. I just needed a friend to have in the bag for when I got nervous. But the views were gorgeous, and I was honestly floored by the time we got to Nebraska because it was so different from flying out of Florida.
Quick post-flight interview here. How was that thrilling run for the fleet?
That was not fun. I was built for comfort, not sport. I also did legs yesterday, so I'm gonna forgive myself. I'm wearing very flat shoes. Very flat shoes. So that was a little excessive. But we made it, and that's what matters. Once we got our bags, we walked out into what was apparently an active construction site at the airport. My dad here is obviously having some fun mocking me for my Hello Kitty duffel bag. Sue me. We got picked up by Heather and Noah from NEBRASKON, and we started driving out to our hotel in a pretty big van. It was pretty obnoxious because I kept recording things, but Nebraska just looked so different from everything that I was used to. Even the sky looked different, and it was so much colder than Florida. We were staying in a courtyard by Marriott right next to the convention center, which was pretty convenient. So once we had checked in, we went over to the convention center to set everything up. I usually put out stickers, price lists, all the usual stuff, as well as my albums, but I did have some trouble setting this one up. What's driving me nuts is that I typically travel with like a mantel, a tablecloth, that kind of ties the whole thing together, and I only had a 6'1". So, also I'm running out of business cards. I didn't notice before I left and probably should have looked at, so that's a problem. It's just, it's not giving SnarkyJay. But I have my candy for the weekend too, and hopefully, you know, get some traffic. I have stickers for the kids and stuff. My other challenge here is that this is an anime con. I'm not an anime person, so just a little out of place here. It was at this point, for whatever reason, my dad and I started talking about Carlito's Way, which is an Al Pacino movie in which he plays a Puerto Rican. I've always made jokes about that over-the-top appearance as a Cuban in Scarface, and since I'm both of those things, I'm half Cuban, half Puerto Rican, 100% Al Pacino from Puerto Rico.
There you go. Can I get you a Dunkachino to watch?
She's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. I know that was awful, but this is a reference to Heat.
She got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it.
The beauty is I got that on video. I really did.
After I'd finished setting up, we headed back to the hotel, and God, it was so windy. I feel like when it's this windy in Florida, they're talking about hurricanes. I'd been up since 4:30 in the morning, so I ended up taking a nap. The nightlife here is limited, so I came down here. Instead of having a sandwich or what I really wanted, I had some hummus. Good way to end a travel day. Went back to the room and did more editing because the grind never stops, and the day was over. I'm exhausted Still, went to bed too late yesterday because I was editing a very special video. Today shouldn't be too bad though. We have a brunch at Longhorn for all the guests, which is pretty cool because I've guested at a lot of conventions and they've never been like, "Can we take you to brunch?" That's never happened. So after brunch, I basically have 2 hours to come back here and hop into my Wolverine stuff, which it doesn't take me that long. So we should be good to go. We drove out through Council Bluffs, which again was so different than anything I'm used to, and we headed to Longhorn. I had a filet and fries. Honestly, no complaints there. The food at Longhorn is always pretty solid. Now, it's about that time where I should start getting into Wolverine. I'm also operating with one less finger because I fucked up my thumb this morning on the lid of a parfait. Close enough. Last time I wore this, I did not put on the teeth. Before I get any questions about why I wear fangs for Wolverine, sometimes they draw him with fangs and I really like it when they give him those. Okay, so this thing is a big sweaty nightmare. The world's most uncomfortable and most obnoxious pair of pants ever are now on. This is the point where I start getting hot and miserable, as you can tell by my face. Now that this thing is on, you zip it into here. Basic ass, terrible moves. Unfortunately for both of us, I can't get the calf pieces on without help, so here's my dad trying to get them on for me. I put on the chest plate, which I also need help zipping up. There's also this back piece that covers the zipper in the back and also aligns on the sides. The last step is always the claws and the gloves, which I can basically only get one set on before I end up needing my dad's help. This is probably one of the more uncomfortable things I have to wear, but I do really like it. I'm not as cute as Hugh Jackman, but I'm trying. And I'll be perfect. So once I was geared up in Wolverine, it was time for opening ceremonies of NebrasKon, but they had me go up and speak, which was nerve-wracking.
Next up, returning to NebrasKon is SnarkyJay cosplay. Hello and welcome back.
Hi y'all. My God, I can't see a damn thing. I'm sure you all look great though. My name is SnarkyJay, at least that's what they call me on the internet. My friends call me Jay, and he said, what if I had any? But I'll consider all of you guys my friends. I will be here all weekend. I'm super stoked to be here. I'm from the swampland of Florida, so I love that. 1 year from Florida. I've never been to the Midwest out here. Y'all have a lot of wind and dust, but I love it. I'm having a great time. I'm so happy to be here in Nebraska. I'm super grateful. Really stoked to meet you guys. I'll be at table 98 all weekend, so please come on by. I'd love to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Table set up, everybody's out walking around and stuff. What are you feeling? What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping for?
Honestly, I would be super excited if somebody actually came over here and knew who the hell I was. The day got off to a good start. Here's one of my fellow guests, Diana the Great, looking through my book. Now, I had one of my panels kind of late in the day on Friday, and the thing about my panels is, one, I do really enjoy doing them, but two, I tend to get kind of nervous speaking in front of a lot of people in public, so I turn them basically into a stand-up session. Here are some of the highlights. Be very casual. At any given time, you can interrupt me with a question. Don't interrupt me with complaints, because I will file those with the rest, which is a garbage can. That is the complaint bin. Don't want to hear those. So if it gets too hot in this, I will fall apart, and after midnight, I will turn back into a pumpkin. If you're gonna learn to crack a whip, put on some sleeves or just be normal and don't do it. Not necessary. Nobody's gonna judge you, and if they do, again, just attack them. Literally attack them. You know, I gave you permission. It's fine. The law cannot attack you if I have told you you can attack them. I supersede the law of the United States of America. Please don't tell anybody that because they'll think I'm starting a cult. Anyway. After the panel, I went back to my table, had some pretty good interactions with folks that knew me from YouTube, which was really nice. And I was pretty much done on the con floor by around 7 and walked back to our hotel room. I'd like to say I did something super exciting, but all I did was get out of my costume and I sat around watching videos about the Old West for a few hours. Day two. It's Saturday, so it should be a good day for crowds. There's some kind of orientation for the contest judges this morning in the green room, so I have to go meet my liaison, Jada. I have a panel at 10. Is my laptop in the bag?
Yes.
Okay.
Not for you.
And then the rest of the day until evening, I'm at the table, so hopefully it'll be a good day.
We headed out halfway early in the morning on day 2 because we had some stuff to take care of. We met up with my fabulous cosplay liaison, Jada, so that we could head over to orientation for the morning. This orientation was basically meant for the judges to kind of tell the guests what we wanted to see at the contest. Here's what I had to say.
Hey y'all, my name is SnarkyJay. I'm your last performance judge. From you guys, honestly, I just want to see you do your best, and I know that sounds corny, but the best thing that you can do is the best that you have within you. I was a musician for many years, and one of the things that we always told each other was if you're gonna make a mistake, make it a big one. You know, do everything with conviction, do everything big, go big or go home. So whatever you do on that stage, become your character, put it in your mind, and do it for all of us. That's what I want to see. As long as you do it to the best of your abilities, whatever you got in you, bring it to the stage, we'll be happy to see it. Thank you.
And if that wasn't enough SnarkyJay public speaking for you, I ended up having my second panel on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I did Cosplay Crafting 101. I've been doing this one for a few years, and I tend to find that it's probably my more helpful panel, and I like to think that people probably glean some good information from it. After that, I went back to my table, and to be completely honest, there was such a lull in the middle of Saturday. If you look at this video, there are a lot of people wandering the hall, but when you focus on me right here, I was kind of just sitting there for like a half hour to 45 minutes quietly.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
For some reason, Friday was really warm, but Saturday was absolutely freezing, so even though I was in a full leather bat suit, I was trembling the entire day. Thankfully, the cosplay contest started at 5, so next thing I knew, I was backstage and waiting to be brought out. And again, right before the contest, I ended up getting the opportunity to speak to the guests and attendees. Hey y'all, my name is SnarkyJay Cosplay. I'm here all the way from Florida. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I can tell you right now, I've never been more excited to see a cosplay contest ever. And that is 100% the truth. You guys rock. I love you, Nebraska. And we had our judging table right out front with a perfect view of the stage. Now, to be honest, it was a long contest, and by the time I started getting grumpy, one of the liaisons tossed me a big Rice Krispie square. Thanks, Tara. Judging was in a whole separate room, but everything was over by 10 p.m.
By the time I got back here yesterday, I didn't record anything else. I just knocked out because I knew I had to do this in the morning, and I was traumatized from early on.
No, I'm afraid I just blew myself.
There's got to be a better way to say that.
It's not as bad now that I'm in it. Maybe I'm just dissociating enough where it's not bothering me, but all my speckles, don't focus on my slippers. It's just weird being blue because I'm not used to being blue, and I also don't like face paint, and the minute I put all this on, my nose is so itchy right now you would not believe, and I have easily another like 6 hours before I'm able to scratch it, so I'm just trying to put that out of my mind. And I've never painted myself any color before, so this was kind of an adventure, and I'm happy with it, so hopefully people like it.
Sunday morning started out with a feedback session. So basically the way Anime Nebraskon does it, the morning after the cosplay contest, they end up letting folks come and ask the panel of judges questions. It's really supposed to be for non-specific feedback, but they can come and ask questions and advice and stuff, and basically they can get some helpful information that should be better when moving forward to their next contest, or maybe even next Nebraskon. I had never done this before, but I think it is a really good concept, and I think people were happy with it. After that, I went back to my table, and lucky for me, this adorable little girl came by and I got to give her stickers. I basically keep stickers at my table just to give kids when they walk by. It's something nice to do. I met up with some pretty cool dudes from the 501st who I was so stoked to meet, and the day almost was over before I knew it, and it was time for closing ceremonies.
How do I get this off? Oh, I got it.
Hi y'all, my name is SnarkyJay.
You guys were absolutely amazing. I have had such a blast all weekend. Not only were you guys the attendees, so much fun, such a talented and kind-hearted group of people, but the staff here at Nebraska is absolutely amazing. Shout out to my new favorite person on the planet, Jada, my liaison, who is an absolute star. That is the only reason I'm still standing this weekend. So thank you guys so much for having me, and I hope...
God, I feel like I get more awkward when you put a mic in my hand.
Honestly, I mean, in comparison to other conventions I've worked, everybody here was so nice, and, you know, I felt very well taken care of all weekend, which is I'm looking forward to unbluing myself right now. On the walk back, I wanted to get some proof that I was in fact in Iowa, so I was trying to point at this big pickleball center, and behind me here is the Mid-America Center where the convention was held. Honestly, I had such a great time, and after that, I wiped off the blue paint, and my dad and I stayed downstairs in the lobby for some snacks, some drinks, and basically just to kind of get a load off at the end of the day. The next morning was another 5:30 a.m. wake up time. I was exhausted. It had been 3 days nonstop, so I was so behind on my sleep, but to be completely honest, as much fun as I had in Nebraska, I was so dying to get home. I missed my dogs, I missed my cats, I missed the warm weather, so once we were done with breakfast in the lobby, I was all too happy to get on the van and get to the airport. Getting through the airport in Nebraska was somehow faster and slower than doing it at home. I got to kind of observe a different part of Nebraska as we headed out, and before I knew it, we were already on the second leg of our flight heading back home. This is another one of those that had an in-flight meal. Check this out: chicken shawarma with rice, some hummus and pita, and this adorable little bundt cake. I will literally never deny a free meal. Admittedly, I was kind of terrified flying back into Florida because we ended up going through these really thick clouds with low visibility, and I kind of thought maybe this is where I die. But we ended up making it safely back home, and by the time we touched down, I could not have been more relieved. Alright y'all, so I got home from Nebraska yesterday, and I wanted to finish this vlog up then, but I just needed some time to relax. I couldn't get off a plane and come right up and record. To be completely honest, this was such a fun, but also like really work-heavy trip. I had never had to get on a plane and go somewhere that was so different, but also just meeting so many different people was really cool. And to be completely honest, the amount of people that came up and said they knew my videos and that they watched me on YouTube, I know that YouTube is a global thing, but to me, since I'm usually in Florida, I hear from people that are in Florida, so it's odd to go to a convention and know that on the Midwest, people are watching my videos. I thought that was great. Everybody that I encountered was so kind, so welcoming. Genuinely, everybody that took care of me this weekend at NebrasCon was so awesome. It makes working so much more pleasant when the people that are around you are genuinely nice people. And I've seen like the attitudes from conventions shift. I had a liaison taking care of my schedule and worrying about me, and the people were super kind. I was also put up in a hotel and flown out, and it really made me feel like, okay, cool, we're getting somewhere. You know, I love making convention appearances, not even just for the cosplay aspect of it anymore, but for me, I really love talking to people, getting to share this love for Marvel, Star Wars, DC, dressing up, all of that with people that are like-minded. I had an absolute blast, and that's all for me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I will add links to all of those in the description below, and let me know your thoughts on my NebrasCon 2024 travel vlog in the comments below.